Lyra ran through the dusty paths of her small village, her heart pounding with fear. Her small hands trembled as she clutched a tattered cloth around her mother's fragile body. Her mother lay on the thin mat inside their hut, her breathing shallow and weak. Each moment felt like an eternity, and Lyra knew time was slipping away. The village was quiet that morning, with only the wind whispering through the dry grass. The houses were simple, built from pale stone and metal scraps, and most of the villagers were busy tending their fields. Lyra called out for help, her voice shaking, "Please, someone, help my mother," but her cries were met with silence. Her mother, Maris, had always been strong and kind, guiding Lyra through the strange world of their planet, but now, Maris looked so small, her eyes half closed, her breaths weak. Lyra's tears fell freely on the mat, and she whispered, "I can't lose you, Mom, I can't." Suddenly, the sound of approaching hooves echoed from the village road. Lyra looked up, hope sparking in her chest. A tall figure appeared, a farmer from another planet, carrying a small bag and leading a large, healthy cow. He seemed calm and unconcerned, scanning the village as if he were only interested in his trade. Lyra ran toward him, her voice breaking, "Please, sir, help my mother, she is dying." The farmer paused, his eyes flicking toward her, then back to his cow. "I'm only here to buy a cow," he said firmly, his voice polite but distant. Lyra felt a cold shiver run down her spine. How could he care so little when her mother's life was slipping away? She dropped to her knees, pleading with him, "I'll give you anything, just save her." But the farmer shook his head, adjusting the straps of his bag. He did not understand the urgency, or perhaps he chose not to. Lyra's hope began to fade, but she refused to give up. She thought of her mother's stories about the hidden power that all aliens carried inside them, a power that could heal and protect. Desperation pushed her forward, and she ran back to her hut, her small hands shaking. She opened the worn wooden chest under the bed, and pulled out a strange, glowing artifact. It hummed softly, as if it knew it was needed. Lyra looked at her mother, and whispered, "I don't know if I can do this alone, but I must try." The farmer lingered outside, unaware that his decision would change soon. Lyra held the artifact close, feeling warmth spread through her hands. A soft light began to glow from it, casting strange patterns on the walls. The air seemed to shimmer, and even the distant trees outside appeared to bend slightly toward the hut. Lyra's fear mixed with determination. She placed the artifact gently on her mother's chest, and it began to pulse in rhythm with Maris's shallow breaths. A soft golden light enveloped the room, making shadows dance along the walls. Lyra held her mother's hand, whispering words of hope and love, as if her voice alone could bring life back. Outside, the farmer paused, noticing the strange glow. He felt a shiver run down his spine, but he could not yet understand the power inside the small hut. Inside, Lyra's eyes filled with tears, but they were no longer just tears of fear, they were tears of courage, determination, and love. She would not let her mother go, not today, not like this. And in that quiet moment, with the artifact glowing and the village still asleep, Lyra made a silent promise, "I will save you, Mom, no matter what it takes." Lyra watched the glow of the artifact flicker across the walls, her mother's shallow breaths growing steadier. A mixture of hope and fear filled her heart, but her relief was short-lived. The farmer stood at the edge of the hut, his tall frame still, his eyes narrow as he observed the strange light. He did not understand what he saw, nor did he seem to care, focused only on the trade he had come to make. Lyra stepped toward him, her small hand still clutching the artifact. "Please, sir, my mother is dying, she needs help," she pleaded, her voice shaking. The farmer adjusted his bag, his eyes scanning the cow, and then he said firmly, "I told you, girl, I'm here only for the cow, nothing else concerns me." Lyra's heart sank, but she refused to turn away. She could not let him leave. She tried bargaining, offering small gifts from her pocket. A shiny stone, a worn bracelet, anything to make him understand. The farmer shook his head, unmoved. "These are nothing to me, I cannot help." Lyra's tears fell again, hot and fast, and she cried out, "Please, you don't understand, she could die." The villagers had begun to gather slowly, whispering among themselves. Some pitied Lyra, others were afraid to interfere. The farmer's indifference made them hesitate, his authority and calm presence frightening them. Lyra felt a pang of anger, but she swallowed it. knowing anger alone would not save her mother. She remembered the stories her mother had told her about courage. Even when others fail you, Lyra, the strength inside you can shine, Maris had said. Lyra took a deep breath and faced the farmer, determination burning in her eyes. I don't need your help if you won't give it willingly, I will find a way, she said, her voice stronger now. The farmer frowned, unaccustomed to defiance from a small alien child. He glanced at the glowing artifact again, the light reflecting strangely in his eyes. A part of him felt uneasy, a tiny spark of curiosity and fear he could not explain. But he reminded himself that he was here only for a cow, and he turned slightly, preparing to leave. Lyra's hands shook as she held the artifact over her mother. The light grew warmer, stronger, responding to her emotions. Her fear mixed with courage, and she felt a strange power awakening inside her. The hut seemed alive with energy, the air thick with tension, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, a soft rumble shook the ground outside. The farmer stopped, glancing around nervously, his calm demeanor faltering. Lyra focused entirely on her mother, feeling the pulse of life return slowly. The villagers watched in awe, realizing that something extraordinary was happening inside the small hut. The farmer hesitated, his indifference slowly giving way to uncertainty. He had come for a simple task, yet now he faced something beyond his understanding. Lyra's determination and the artifact's glow had created a force no one could ignore. She whispered to her mother, "Hold on, Mom, I will not let you go." And in that moment, the farmer realized that some things were bigger than business, bigger than trade. Yet he still stood outside, unsure of what to do, torn between leaving and witnessing the miracle unfolding. Lyra's courage had begun to change the hearts of those around her, and even the coldest observer could feel it. The hut pulsed with energy, and the story of survival had only just begun. Lyra sat beside her mother, the artifact still glowing warmly against Maris's chest. Her small hands trembled, but she felt a strange strength flowing through her. The soft hum of the artifact filled the room, echoing like a heartbeat. Lyra remembered the stories her mother had whispered late at night, tales of hidden alien powers that could heal and protect. She looked at her mother's pale face, each shallow breath a reminder of how little time remained. Her eyes scanned the room, searching for a sign, a clue, anything that could help her unlock the artifact's full power. The symbols engraved on its surface glimmered as if alive, responding to her touch. Lyra placed her hands carefully on the glowing object, closing her eyes, and whispered, "Please, give me strength." Suddenly, the light pulsed, brighter and stronger than before. The warmth spread through Lyra's body, filling her with courage she had never known. Her mind raced with the words her mother had spoken, urging her to believe in herself. "This power is yours, Lyra, but you must be brave," Maris had said, and now those words echoed in her mind. Outside the hut, the farmer still lingered, curiosity overcoming his indifference. The glow from the window caught his attention, and he frowned, feeling an unease he could not explain. The villagers whispered in amazement, sensing the strange energy radiating from the hut. Even the wind seemed to pause, carrying the faint hum of the artifact across the dry fields. Lyra focused, her small fingers tracing the patterns on the artifact. It began to vibrate, responding to her intent, its glow shifting from soft gold to brilliant silver. The air thickened, and the walls of the hut seemed to shimmer and breathe with energy. She felt a connection forming, a bridge between herself, the artifact, and her mother's failing life. Her heart pounded as doubt crept in, fear whispering that she might fail. But she pushed it away, remembering every lesson her mother had taught her. Her voice trembled but grew louder, "I will not let you go, Mom, I promise." A warm light enveloped Maris, and slowly, her breathing steadied, the color returning to her cheeks. The farmer took a cautious step closer, unsure whether to intervene or flee. The light outside caught his eyes, reflecting in them as if calling to something deep inside him. Lyra opened her eyes, surprised by the intensity of the energy. The artifact seemed to respond not just to her will, but to the bond between her and her mother. Suddenly, a soft vibration shook the hut, startling Lyra. She realized that the artifact was awakening something beyond her understanding. A faint glow appeared on the walls, tracing patterns like constellations, moving and shifting as if alive. The farmer's eyes widened, realizing that this was no ordinary object, no simple village miracle. Lyra's courage grew stronger, each pulse of the artifact giving her hope. Her mother stirred slightly, opening her eyes to look at her daughter. A faint smile touched Maris's lips, a sign that the hidden power was working. Lyra's heart swelled with relief, but she knew this was only the beginning. Outside, the villagers whispered and stared, their fear mixing with awe. Even the farmer hesitated, his mind struggling to understand the strange forces at work. Lyra held her mother's hand firmly, her resolve unshakable. The hidden power had awakened, and now it was up to her to use it fully before it was too late. And in that quiet, glowing room, Lyra realized that bravery, love, and belief could shape even the impossible. Lyra felt the artifact's glow pulsing stronger than ever, filling the small hut with a golden light. Her mother, Maris, was breathing steadily now, her color returning, but the danger was not over. The strange energy seemed to hum in the air, vibrating through the walls and floor. Lyra could feel it stretching beyond the hut, reaching into the forest nearby. Suddenly, a rustling came from the trees, soft but deliberate. Shadows moved between the trunks, shapes unfamiliar and slightly frightening. Lyra's heart skipped a beat, but she refused to show fear, clutching the artifact tightly. From the darkness, a pair of glowing eyes appeared, followed by more, until the forest seemed alive with alien creatures. The creatures were tall, with thin, elongated bodies and shimmering skin. They moved gracefully, their heads tilting as they observed the hut and the glowing artifact. The villagers gasped and stepped back, some frozen with fear. Even the farmer stopped in his tracks, unsure if he should run or stay. One creature stepped forward, its glowing eyes focused on Lyra. It spoke in a soft, melodic tone, though the words were understood in her mind. "You hold the artifact. You awaken the power. Why do you call upon it?" Lyra swallowed hard, her voice small but steady. "My mother is dying, please help me save her." The creature seemed to study her, its gaze intense, yet not threatening. The artifact responds to courage and love. "You have both. We can help, but you must prove your strength," it said. Lyra nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "I will do whatever it takes," she whispered. The other creatures circled closer, their presence powerful yet calm, as if waiting for her to act. The farmer watched from the edge of the hut, his jaw tight, his mind racing. He had come only to buy a cow, but now he saw something beyond trade, beyond profit. The creature's energy seemed to fill the air with a sense of purpose, a reminder that life was bigger than small ambitions. He felt his indifference start to fade, replaced with awe and caution. Lyra concentrated on the artifact, feeling its pulse merge with the energy of the creatures. A warm, golden light spread through the hut and into the surrounding forest. The creatures moved in harmony with the glow, creating a protective circle around the hut. Lyra's mother stirred again, her eyes fluttering open, weak but alive. One creature stepped closer and lowered a slender hand toward Lyra. "You have heart. You have courage. We will help your mother fully, but only if you trust yourself," it said. Lyra nodded, holding the artifact over her mother, letting the light flow freely. The energy inside her grew, as if the artifact and the creatures had become one, responding to her will and her love. Outside, the farmer could no longer look away, his mind shifting. He saw the miracle unfolding, and a small part of him wished he could understand it fully. The villagers whispered among themselves, realizing that this small alien girl held the power to change everything. Lyra smiled faintly at the creatures, her courage giving her strength she did not know she had. As the light spread through the hut, the artifact pulsed faster, stronger. Her mother's breathing grew even steadier, the glow surrounding her like a protective cocoon. The creatures hummed in resonance, their presence calming and powerful. Lyra's determination had awakened allies she never imagined, and now, together, they could face what came next. And in that quiet, glowing hut, Lyra realized that help could come from the most unexpected places. Even strangers, even creatures from the unknown, could be allies when courage and love led the way. The golden light from the artifact filled the entire hut, warm and steady. Lyra held her mother's hand, feeling Maris's pulse grow stronger beneath her fingers. Her heart swelled with hope, and for the first time in hours, she allowed herself to breathe. The alien creatures circled the hut, their glowing forms creating a protective shield, humming softly in harmony with the artifact. Outside, the villagers and the farmer watched in awe, unable to look away. The farmer's cow stood quietly, sensing the strange energy, as if the world itself had paused. He had come only to buy a cow, yet now he witnessed something far greater. Lyra's courage and love had awakened a power no one could ignore. Maris's breathing grew steady, her eyes opening fully, color returning to her cheeks. She smiled weakly at her daughter, whispering, "You did it, Lyra, you saved me." Tears of joy and relief streamed down Lyra's face, her small body shaking from the intensity of her emotions. The artifact glowed brighter, responding to the bond between mother and daughter, and then slowly dimmed, its work done. The creatures stepped back, their eyes glowing softly, acknowledging Lyra's bravery. "You have proven yourself," one of them said, its voice echoing in her mind, "courage and love can shape life itself." Lyra nodded, understanding that her actions had changed not only her mother's fate but also the hearts of those around her. Even the farmer, once indifferent and focused only on trade, bowed his head slightly in respect, a small smile crossing his face. The villagers approached cautiously, whispering words of admiration and awe. Many of them had doubted the power of a small alien girl, but now they saw that bravery and belief could overcome fear and indifference. Lyra stood tall, holding her mother's hand, feeling a warmth that came not just from the artifact but from the trust and love surrounding them. The lesson was clear, even the smallest, weakest, or youngest among them could create miracles when guided by courage and heart. The farmer finally stepped forward, his voice soft, "I came for a cow, but I leave knowing I witnessed something greater than I could have imagined." Lyra smiled at him, her eyes shining. "Sometimes, the things we come to take are not what we truly need," she said. He nodded slowly, understanding her meaning, realizing that compassion and humanity, no matter the planet, were worth more than trade or profit. Maris hugged her daughter tightly, whispering words of gratitude and love. Lyra held her mother close, feeling the relief and happiness flow through her. The village, once quiet and indifferent, now buzzed with wonder and hope. Stories of Lyra's courage and the artifact's power would spread far, inspiring others to act with bravery and heart. As the golden light faded completely, the creatures retreated into the forest, leaving a calm energy in their wake. Lyra watched them go, her heart full, knowing that even in the vast universe, help could come from unexpected allies. She looked at her mother, smiling, "We did it, Mom, and we are stronger than ever." Maris returned the smile, "Yes, Lyra, and this is just the beginning of what you can do." The farmer finally turned toward his cow, ready to leave, yet something in him had changed. He no longer saw the world as just transactions and business, but as a place where courage, love, and action could create miracles. Lyra watched him go, feeling a quiet pride, knowing she had changed more than one life today. And as the stars began to shine over the small village on a distant planet, she whispered, "The universe is bigger than fear, stronger than indifference, and guided by the hearts that dare to care."